I think it's important that we, I'm sorry about the videos going off, but it's important that we get to a point of spreading hope around this world. And Graeme, I can use Graeme, Kurt, Jan, Richie, whoever, Shawnee, who works out there, who's come through this program. There's a pandemic in this country, there's a pandemic in the world, and unless we do something to curb it, unless we all get together, every institution should be fighting this war on our children together. The problem is we're all fighting it alone. We all want the glory. There is no glory when you go bury someone, when you go bury a child. No mother and father should bury their child. So I ask you tonight, everyone around this country, around this world, let's join hands, man. Let's join hands and not sing hymns at funerals. Our children are dying. I'm going to introduce you to Graeme, and he's going to tell you a bit of his story, and I hope that the Wi-Fi doesn't cut out, but there are things that are beyond our control. Graeme is one of the success stories of recovery, not RAEL, of recovery by God's grace.
You know, in recovery they say this, you'll be amazed once you're halfway through. And yeah, I was amazed once I was halfway through, you know, because I was tired of living a ruthless lifestyle, so to say. And I hope there are people watching this video that saw me in that lifestyle, that the person that I was to what I am today. And I had to make that conscious decision. Do I want to change? And yes, I made that decision myself. I had this, I don't know, you can call it maybe a divine intervention that happened to me one day. I was looking through a window full of bullet holes, and I told myself, I don't want to live this life anymore. And that was the day that a seed was planted and I changed my life. And now I live a life let's say I'm a successful member of society. I get up early every morning and I go to work at a beautiful company that gave me a chance, which through Mr. Hall and Auntie Corin's help, I got the job. And I stuck it through the hard times, the good times, the bad times, all the time. I stuck it through and I just kept working towards what I want to be one day. And I come from, which I put myself through, I come from the streets, you know. I stayed in a Nova Park. I became a gangster. And I tried living a life that I thought was glamorous and glorious, which is actually total opposite. You know, I always had this role model in life, Scarface. I wanted to be just like Scarface, you know, that was like my dream. From a little boy, I looked up to this man and I just wanted to be just like him. And I tell you one thing, I was the total opposite. I was the total opposite. It's impossible to live a glorious lifestyle when you're under the influence all the time, every day. You know, I eventually had to scratch in bins. I slept on the streets for many of nights without blankets, which I put myself through. I got a beautiful family that would have never wanted that for me. But it's through my own actions and through my own will that I put myself through that. Many of nights I had to make a hot fire to keep warm, not for pleasure, just to keep warm and to make food on the streets. Now I got a fire for pleasure. I'm actually getting hot as I'm sitting here. And it's this name and these hands, they're dirty now, but they make clean money. And that's the difference. In the past, they were only for bad things. Now I don't regret my past at all. And I forgot one thing, but I didn't forget him. I saved the best for last. I started believing in God. And that was the change, you know. There's a lot of people that disagree and say there is no God, but who am I to say there isn't a God? Who am I to say there isn't a God? I'd rather be before those gates saying that I gave it my all. You know, I don't regret my past, and I'm waiting for the future, because I know my future is going to be beautiful. I got that dream of having the white picket fence with the wife and the 3 children. That's my vision in life, because I know that's the only way you can live in society these days. There's no other way. You get a job, you get up every morning, you go to work, you start a normal life, and that's just how it should be. And from where I was to where I am today, in 2 years, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I got from having nothing. You know, I came to the RAEL farm with a toothbrush in a bread bag. That's all I had. I had nothing else. I had a toothbrush in a bread bag. A Colgate toothbrush in a blue ribbon bread bag. Now I've got 4 incomes, 4 ways of making money. And that's because I put it all into recovery. You know, I want this change of life. I don't want to live from bin to bin, or not. Paulsmoor's another place that I ended up in. Through my own actions, through nobody else's actions, through my own stupidity, thinking I'm clever, thinking I know this. And that was the difference to where I am today. Not thinking, I climbed out the driver's seat and I let God sit in the driver's seat. And I just learned to humble myself, you know, not be so slim with my back. Because I'm not that slim actually, especially when it comes to addiction recovery. Now I try it, I give it my all. I have my ups and downs, but who doesn't? I mean, I see characteristics of people who aren't addicts that are far worse than what I am. I actually think everybody needs recovery. Addict or not, you all need recovery. Because I see it. I think to myself, why is this person acting like that? He's got all the traits of a drug addict, but he's not a drug addict. That's all I have to say, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Hi, just thought I wanna also say a few words quickly, and you know, Graeme said it now. For him, 2 years, more than 2 years. I've been the 16th coming up. I'll be I'll be 16 months sober, and you know, 16 months ago, I was sitting in prison, and you know, I thought there was no hope. I thought I had no future. In my own eyes, I was basically screwed. I've put my mom through so much in her life, and you know, I have to stop myself from crying now, because you know, the stuff that I put my mom through in my life. I used to hold my mom hostage in her own house, and threaten my mother for money, and disrespect her in every way possible. My mom used to lock herself in a room because she was scared of me. My mom used to, you know, I can never ever thank God enough for His grace in my life, you know, because I could never ever do this without God, without God's grace. And you know, I used to blame God. I used to blame God for my addiction. I used to blame my mother. I used to blame my father, even my brother. It was always everybody else's fault except my own fault. But you know, sitting in Mr. Hall's groups and listening and hearing what Mr. Hall went through, you know, I started taking responsibility for my actions, because it's all it is. I was in this boat because of my own actions, not because of what my mom had done, not because of what my dad had done in my life. And you know, I think that is the main problem of denial. And if you can't, I was never able to admit to myself that I knew I was a drug addict, but I was always looking for excuses. I was always blaming everybody else except myself, and I could never accept that the mess that I'm in is because of it's my own fault. It's not because of anybody else's fault. And you know, there was a lot of things that I needed to let go of, resentments I had, people who I hated. And you know, at the end of the day, those people are still going on with their lives. I needed to let go in order to be able to move forward, because if you can't let go of something, it's going to eat you. If you don't deal with your past, it will come back and it will deal with you. That's just the fact of the matter. And but being 16 months sober now, I never in my wildest dreams imagined that I would get this far. And I'm working for a big transport company now. I'm a truck driver. I come home with my trucks in the evening. And you know, being from Worcester, and RAEL is in Worcester, you know, I'm building up credibility again. I'm building up people's trust again. And you know, my mother has never been happier in years. Remember, I put my mom through hell. She never knew where I was. She said she was always waiting for the cops to come and knock on the door, saying they found me in a sloot somewhere. And you know, I always used to say, it's my life, just leave me the hell alone, let me live my life. But you know, the ripples of unmanageability, it's not our lives that we're messing up. It's everybody who cares about us. And I never used to understand it. But as I became a bit more, how should I call it now? I grew up, man. I grew up, and I started realizing what life is all about. I don't want to sit with a tick lolly in my hand anymore. I don't want to sit with a button pipe in my hand anymore, throwing my life away. I'm busy becoming what God intended me to become. And you know what, I couldn't really care about what people say about me, you know, because I'm not the person I used to be. I'm a brand new person, and I'm on my journey, and I'm loving this journey. And there are so many naysayers out there. People that still say, but you will never make it in life. And there are so many people that's waiting for me to fall, and waiting for all of us to fall, because you know, at the end of the day, I'm not doing this for anybody but myself. Because if I can't get myself right, I can't mean anything for anybody. I can't mean anything for my mommy. And it's now time to give back. It's now time to give back to everybody that we used to hurt in the past. And thanks to Mr. Hall and Auntie Karen, I'm able to be a good boy these days, and I'm able to be a man, become a man, you know, and show the world out there that I'm not what they used to say I am, but I am the best me that I can be, a sober me. So yeah, thanks guys and ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I think now you've just heard from two of the young men, and then there's others here who've got good jobs. Obviously, Shawnee today got his 90% for his exam. Now, how do you put a money value on that? So that's why I asked that we as a nation can put the pride in the pocket, and we can all start working together. There's a wonderful organization under General Andre Lincoln called the Rod Bearers. They're a motorcycling club. Now, I don't do motorcycles. My wife does. And iron sharpens iron, and we need to sharpen each other's iron in a very constructive way. We need mothers and fathers as well to stop the enabling, mothers and fathers to put the boundaries in. We need moms and dads to take back the homes. If moms and dads don't take back the homes, then we're fighting a losing battle. If the kids are running the house, then what reason, if there's no consequences for the kids to stop, or for the youngsters, or for the men or women to stop drugging, if there's no consequences, why must they stop? So if moms and dads support us in taking back our homes, I've asked for years for the government, which, okay, with the government, let's just not even go into the government because we could be here all day, is that we've asked for a place like Robben Island where we can take people who are addicted to get them skills. They haven't got skills. They're drugging from school, they come out of school, they carry on, there's no skills. A lot of them don't know how to do any work. They can't work with their hands, and we need places of skills. Short-term recovery doesn't work. So we need to skill them. We need to get them their ID books. We need to get them their bank cards. We need to get them their driver's license. We need to get them empowered, so when they go out, they've got a starting point to be members of society. It is no use just coming in, drying out, going back to the same place and nothing has changed. To stop the drugs is easy, you just put it down. And when I think to myself now, as I heard one of the young men say, we're setting out a fire now for pleasure, but for the grace of God. Only but for the grace of God. I'm not shy anymore to say, but for the grace of God. Coming from a park bench 12 years ago to now, everything is a blessing. And to see young men who are around me all the time, and some of them as young as 40, grow every single day is a pleasure. It's wonderful. There's a lot of sacrifices. I'm around these men all the time, especially the guys who are still in the program. They're around me all the time, every day. And it's not an easy life. It's a life of sacrifice. But it's life what I took when my nephew died 10, 12 years ago, that this would be my calling. This is my calling. This is my passion. I love it. I just love seeing the sunshine on people. I love seeing young men rising up to the occasion. And the men that spoke tonight, I can be quite categorically in saying, their parents supported me, that they were prepared to work with me in not withdrawing the boundaries. And by not withdrawing the boundaries, they helped it. So the addict, if you want to term it that, had no other option. And then they fell into line. We need, as a society, we need the police to lock up not these dealers who are dealing for the pot. They know who the big boys are, because I know. How can I know who the big boys are and they don't? They know what businessmen are involved in the drug trade in South Africa, who never put their hands on it. They know what bosses of soccer companies, they know what bosses have got their hands in the pie. They know what government members have got their fingers in the pie in drug addiction. They know quite well. We need them. We need the police to become uncorrupt. We need a Minister of Police and a National Police Commissioner who is going to do something about this. That person standing at the robot asking for 10 Rand or 5 Rand or 2 Rand, that is someone's child. That is someone's child. That is just not a it. Yes, it was a bad choice by that person to start drugs, but we got the opportunity to save our lives. So we need the police that are uncorruptible. We need the justice system to mete out harsh sentences for drug dealers. I mean, for these drug lords, they must go to jail for life. We don't have the death penalty here, but they must go to jail for life. We need more government programs. We need government to start being aware that this pandemic is making a nation so lazy that the next generation, if something doesn't get done now, we're not going to even worry if Gupta takes all the money. We're not even going to care if our country hasn't got roads. We're not even going to care if we got water. Only thing we're going to care about is our next drug or our next drink. So we need to know that everyone is playing their part in this road to help our generations, to help the people today. We need to educate at schools. I've been lobbying for that for so many years, that do drug education from primary school, even from sub A or whatever they call it these days to be politically correct, and take political correctness out of drug addiction and take it out of drug recovery. We can't be politically correct. This is a pandemic. It's gone beyond a pandemic, and more we are seeing mothers and fathers burying their children. We see mothers and fathers are in pain. They are phoning and emailing and saying, what do I do? What do I do next? How do I overcome this? And there's no ways that they can overcome it alone. Tonight I beg South Africa, from government, local government, national government, and provincial government, combine with everyone who has got the right vision and the right passion, who wants to help people, not help our pockets. If you want to get rich, go work for Pick and Pay. Become a director of Pick and Pay, or go work for the Guptas. But if you want to help people and save people's lives, then come and help people and save people's lives. Don't have once a year, have one big function where you're spending taxpayers' money and you saying you're doing so much for drug addiction, but what are you doing? You're having one fat party on taxpayers' money. This is a continuous battle. The war on drugs has been lost years ago. It's now the war on our children. For South Africa, when you see a person at the robot, I don't ask you to have pity on him. Have empathy on that man or woman. Our young kids that are selling their bodies at the age of 12, boys and girls. That's what's happening in this country. Youngsters, 7 years old, addicted to thick. God, we ask you to protect everyone tonight. We ask people that may be watching this, that are addicted, that will come to a realization that God can do for me what I couldn't do for myself. God can do it, and He will do it. Because He promises us. As Graeme said, you'll be amazed before you're halfway through. A lot of people have fear that if they fear to come into recovery. They have the fear of the unknown. But we will walk with them because we know what the unknown is like. But we know what the known is like as well because we've walked that road. This is about grace, South Africa, the world. This is about grace that God, the grace and the G. Let me close up for this, for South Africa and for the world tonight. After hearing the testimony of these two young men, what beautiful testimonies. What beautiful testimonies to show young men who today are productive members of society, enjoying life, but been here for a long time, got the freedom, got all the freedom. They can go out now if they want to, because they're in sober living. The G is for gratitude. I am so grateful tonight that I'm sober, I've got a beautiful wife, I've got a beautiful calling, and I'm able to watch young men grow from what people call scum, drug addicts, whatever name we've been called, whatever name there is in South Africa in the world, we've been called it. I think there's some names that we've been called that are not even really meant to be in this world. The gratitude tonight that I can see men grow. The gratitude of all the people, either those who are still in the program or those who are the sober living, the next level of recovery. Sober living recovery is the future of addiction recovery, not 21 and 28 days because the medical aid said so. What a joke. The R is for respect. Tonight, I've got self-respect. I've got respect for myself, which is the most important. I can love myself without being arrogant in the love. And I can respect my fellow human being. If I can't respect my fellow human being, then how do I even respect myself? I respect these men who've taken the chance and have taken the opportunity to change their lives. And God has played it, and that's why we hear about grace. The A is the acceptance. I accept tonight, like I accepted 12 years ago, I'm an addict, I'm an alcoholic, but I'm saved by the grace of God, so you can't touch me. I have no desire tonight to go pick up a drink or a drug. I have no desire tonight to go and gamble. I have no desire tonight to keep my parents hostage. The C is for the courage to change. And that's what I see around me when the young men come in and the courage they have to change. Yes, they battle in the beginning. We all battle in the beginning. Even if you start playing cricket in the beginning, you battle. So it's the courage. And I see courage. I see courageous men around me. Men who come home from work and say, this was my day, I had a horrible day, or I had a lekker day. The courage. The courage to change takes a man to change. In addiction recovery, you've only got winners and losers. Nothing in between. Winners and losers. Life and death. At the crossroads, that's where we stood. And the E is for the empathy. The empathy for the still struggling addict and alcoholic, and the still struggling, suffering mother and father and loved ones. Let's keep them in prayer. Let's ask God to the times of miracles are not over. They happen every day. There's miracles sitting around me as I talk here now. Who said miracles were over? It's because we don't broadcast it to the world, because we'd rather watch shit on this broadcast that we are doing now than watch true life miracles. These men come out of prison from the streets. Today they are flying high by the grace of God. Parents, please take back your homes. Those still suffering, there is hope. Don't wait for too long. Make the change. Make the change. God bless you and God bless South Africa. God bless our nation. God bless its people. God bless our elderly. God bless those that are tonight on the streets. God bless tonight those who are in the squatter camps who are drugged. Our heart goes out to them because we know what we're talking about, because we've been there. God bless them all. God bless this nation. And God bless the world. Thank you.
Well done.